death be outwitted? Is the secret of eternal life just around that corner? Today, medical science patches up mutilated bodies, transplanting human skin, eyes, limbs, even vital organs. Is the next step the transplantation of the human brain? Many scientists answer yes, but they pause and add a grim warning. For in the ancient folk legends, tales are told of blood-sucking vampires, crawling out of graves to live on the bodies of helpless victims. Is man now doomed to produce a race of ever-living monstrosities, worse than the vampires of legend? Will ruthless men and women of great wealth and power greedily buy or steal the living bodies of the young and beautiful, so their brains may live on forever? Such questions may seem fanciful, but at this very moment, scientists are working on the answer to brain transplantation, and human bodies are used. This girl was buried in a nearby cemetery yesterday. Only a few hours ago, her body was stolen. By Dr. Otto Frank, and brought to this hidden laboratory. He has grafted a living animal's brain into this newly dead body. If the experiment works, the next step will be the transplantation of a human brain. The brain cells are being reactivated by an atomic fission produced in the cyclotron. Has he found the way to outwit death? Or has he created another? Deep below, Dr. Frank takes the chance of smashing his way into a newly sealed vault. His experiments cannot continue without another body. The watchman's mind was not on body snatchers, just his usual nip. Inside the vault, a body waits. This is one of the doctor's mistakes, a monstrosity. An animal's brain grafted to a human body. Leaving the dead watchman, the monstrosity carried the girl's body out of the vault. It fears and obeys one master, Dr. Frank. Here beneath the old mansion, the doctor carefully prepared for another transplant. This body had been in the vault for only a few hours. Chances seemed better this time. Still, Dr. Frank was doubtful. Tissue in dead bodies deteriorates rapidly. Where were the live, fresh bodies he'd been promised? He bitterly resents that every step forward depends on the whim of a miserly old woman brooding upstairs in her bedroom. And Hetty March wonders, has she been a fool, squandering money on this strange experiment? Money hoarded through a long, greedy lifetime, each day more money, each day death getting closer. Ah, but to start life again in a brand new body, beautiful and young, no price can be too high for that. Can she really trust the doctor? Can she really trust anyone? Hasn't everyone tried to cheat her? Wanting her money while they smiled at her ugliness? But they never got a penny. Oh, how she made them sweat. Especially this old fool, companion and gigolo. How many years she's kept him dangling on promises. Well, sometimes it's convenient to have a man, especially when he comes cheaper than servants.
That's the Austrian girl?
Lionel Rhodes, 18, no family, pleasing personality, whatever that might mean. Thick ankles, pimply face, but she always smiles when she's spoken to, very likely.
Well, application forms for a servant girl don't usually include bust, waist, and hip measurements.
We interrupt this program to bring you a...
All three will be here tomorrow, and then you can choose.
Early this evening at Greenhaven Cemetery, the body snatchers brutally murdered night watchman Robert Payne, 62, who evidently interrupted his killers during their ghoulish task. His neck was broken. The imprint of a huge pair of hands was found on his throat. It's the opinion of the police that the same gang that has previously...
Ring for Dr. Frank. So that's what he was doing.
More of it, hocus pocus, Hetty.
The doctor transplanted a brain from a live dog to a dead human body. You saw the creature walk out of that cylinder alive.
How many failures since then? Still, it's your money. The bodies must be fresh. This specimen is excellent.
And the police are looking for the body snatcher.
Why the local cemetery, Doctor? Are you trying to blaze a trail to our door?
The final test was essential for your protection. As for the police, if they come here, I hit this switch, a nuclear reaction is set off. Close the circuit breaker, and in a matter of minutes, this house and any evidence it might contain becomes a radioactive hole in the ground.
Be careful.
But we can wait for that until after your operation.
Well, nothing must go wrong. There's no sign of life.
Watch. lacks but one thing. The brain. Hans was still living when he was dragged from that wrecked car. That's why we succeeded with the transplant.
She seems alive.
She is, to a limited extent. She'll be able to move around, but the brain deterioration is too extensive for thought processes.
Pardon me, but how far is Hollywood from here? All right, let's see. 16 kilometers, about 10 miles. Which way? That way. Are you going to Hollywood? No such luck. I'm what's known as a foreign domestic. The next 12 months, I'll be scrubbing floors and making beds. But when my time's up, Hollywood will look out. That's strange. A foreign domestic agency paid my passage, too. I'm from Vienna, Austria. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I'm from England. No. Is this your first trip? Yes. I'm awfully excited.
Por favor. I know speak English very good.
Are you going to work for Mrs. March, too? This sounds like a sister act. You, too?
Nina Road?
Yes, sir.
Anita Gonzalez? Beatrice Mullins, eh?
That's right. Are you Mr. March?
No, I work for Mrs. March. Come along.
3 new bodies, fresh, live, young bodies. No families or friends within thousands of miles, no one to ask embarrassing questions when they disappear. Victor wondered which one Mrs. March would pick, the little Mexican, the girl from Vienna, or the buxom blonde. Victor knew his pick, but he still felt uneasy. Making love to an 80-year-old woman in the body of a 20-year-old girl, it's insanity. Still, Hetty's plan to transfer her fortune to the new body had been brilliant. Unpleasant to think of what was going to happen to these girls, but a man has to consider his own future. What would happen to him if Hetty were to cast him off after all these years?